favorite Evergreen Terrace albums. Now, it's not fair because it's not like one of their normal albums, but fucking Writer's Block
Yeah, that's
is
that's one of their most
so
popular
it's
ones. Yeah,
so fun.
it is. It's great. It's fun. I kind of missed that whole era of music whenever everyone was doing covers all the time, and like I think it was Me
Mhm.
First and the Gimme Gimmes that just like kind of made that super popular.
Yeah,
Like
well, because
and
that's all
everyone
they
started
were.
doing it. Yeah, and then like, and I remember being like even in the late '90s, like playing in a pop punk band. Like every show was like, oh, what are we gonna do one cover song? What is it?
Right.
And you don't see that as much anymore, which is
You had to do the one cover though, especially
had to.
when you were like still smaller on the up. You had to give
Oh
people the
yeah.
cover because it's like, they don't know your music yet. Hardly, so you have to give them something they know, at least one thing. And it's either, if pop punk does it the best because typically they don't cover, they remake it.
Yeah, yeah.
They make it to sound like themselves. And that's
100%.
that's my favorite.
Yeah.
If a pop punk band like literally covers like sound for sound where everything exactly the same, I don't listen to it really because it's just kind of a bummer to me.
Yeah, yeah. It's if there's no difference between that and the original song, then why am I listening to it? It's like,
Right.
yeah.
I
And
might
the
as well just
hardcore
listen to the
bands
original.
I thought hardcore bands were pretty good at it because really all
Oh
they
yeah.
had to do was like pop a breakdown in there and just add some screaming over the melodic vocals and then bam, it was like a new song.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Like August Burns Red whenever they do that sort of stuff, chef's kiss. Just
Oh yeah, for sure. My first live seeing a band do covers, being from Florida, was Newfound Glory. Seeing them like when they were a local band playing, and they were always doing covers, even when they were like a local band. And so it's pretty cool. I always thought they did it pretty well.
oh yeah.
They had some fun
My
covers in there.
my second Newfound Glory CD I bought was from the Screen to Your Stereo.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
lot of people's introduction to the band.
Yeah. Because it's so good. I think it's
Yeah.
still good. Now it's arguably their worst one of
Oh
the
yeah.
three, but it's because like they were still so new.
But it's also nostalgia for us, right? So
Yeah.
that first one will always be. There's a bunch of albums like that. I'll be like, I know songwriting wise and sonically it wasn't as good, but it doesn't matter to me. Like these are like that. I would like it because it reminds me of what it was to be like back then. uh,
Totally.
I think
Yeah.
that's how you know you're getting old, though.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I all older people do that, they cling to the music of their youth. And my dad's it's not like my dad is searching up like new music right now. I mean, he's kind of weird, so he kind of does, but
Hmm.
most people don't.
In general, yeah. What one of the things is I've gotten older that I didn't expect was I never thought about this because like when I was younger, like my parents' bands were like the oldies, so it was like
Yeah.
all the movies, 60s and 70s. But what's weird is like all the bands that we had in the 90s and even in the early 2000s, they never stopped being bands. So like I never thought about when I was young, I never thought I would be like old and then like listening to a new Bad Religion album in my 40s. Like those types of things I never considered that when I was playing back then. So
Right. It's because like the bands from our parents' age didn't really do that.
yeah.
Some of them did, of course, but
Like my
not.
wife was laughing at me on TikTok yesterday. I was scrolling through and there were like some old guys talking. And I looked and I was like, holy hell, that's less than Jake. And I was like, why are they so old? And I was like, I'm old. Like you have those
Why are they so
realizations.
old?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Because I'm used to seeing them, when I used to see them play concerts and then I see them
Right.
on TikTok now and I'm like, oh my God, they're like in their 50s.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It's a wild life we lead right
Oh yeah,
now.
for sure.
Old, stupid. Speaking of old, we're just gonna start this right here because Gibby already hit record and all that conversation was so good. So I'm just gonna pop in with the intro. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another. Actually, this is the first under Unsigned Pop Punk Podcast. So, yo, welcome. How you guys doing? With me, we got Super Gibby, and this one might get a little twisty even. We got Edgar O'Neill. You might even know him as Edgar the Storm Chaser. Edgar, welcome
Yeah.
to the show, man.
Hey, I'm glad to be here. This is awesome.
This is
Super cool.
this is gonna be fun. I'm excited because we initially met because of TikTok, and
Yeah.
we we looked alike at one point when
Yeah,
I
we
had the
did.
big beard.
Hmm.
We were kind of twinsies.
Doppelgangers for sure.
I think it was the video I made of like the just two like emos staring at each other or something, and you're like, "Holy shit, you look like
Yes.
me."
Yeah. Well, what funny thing is my wife sent me the TikTok first and was like, this person looks just like you. And I was like, holy crap. And then I saw what type of content you did, and I was like, oh yeah, gotta be friends with this dude. I mean, uh so I
Yeah.
thought that was really cool. But yeah, what's funny, did you feel as a man when you had your big beard? I always get told I look like people though. And I think it's because like people, anytime they see another person with a big beard, they're like, oh, like you look like my friend so and so.
Well, we're both bald.
And
We both
glasses.
have kind of thick rimmed glasses, and we both had like the big
Yeah,
old beard.
we definitely are twins.
So we're very, very similar looking, and we were both doing TikTok and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, we're both, just living our TikTok dream.
It's true.
Pat,
Yeah,
we need you to get that beard back, and y'all just got to hang out all the time and make all the content together and be like,
Just
the internet
confuse
made us
people.
be friends.
That
it's true.
happens sometimes.
We could do some like pop punk storm chasing
Dude, I'm
or
so down for that.
some punk.
Well,
I don't know what we would do, but that's what we would do.
I have a bunch of people like guys that are in pop punk bands to come chase with me. Mike Herrera from MXPX, we're in regular conversation. Like he wants to come
That's
out and
awesome.
storm chase with me.
Yeah.
And then I grew up with some of the guys in the band Yellow Card.
Okay.
So like some of those guys all want to come out with me. So I was like, it would be kind of I've always had this dream of doing like this punk storm chasing collaboration where we're just out there like in the midst of a tornado and I'm like asking them questions like while
Yeah.
we're like, running for our lives. I think that'd be some fun content right there.
I think you're onto something.
Yeah.
Okay, hear me out. Hear me out.
Okay, let's
I start a band called The Storm, and your whole series is just chasing me.
there you go. You're the storm. I just instead of deadheads, we're just storm chasers, right? That's
Yeah.
what we call
Yeah.
ourselves,
Yeah.
and we just follow your band around the world.
That's what it's always been.
But you're
Ed.
always
Don't
like
lie.
one date behind. So it's like your goal is to see us live. That you're
So-
always just one show behind every time.
There you go. I like it.
Oh my
I'm in.
gosh. This is it. This is like the show The Following. Do you remember that one? Like you're just always a step behind. Man, that was a good show.
Oh man.
All right. Well, let's start asking some storm chasing questions.
Let's do
So,
it.
You're an extreme storm chaser with Team Dominator. For those of us that only know storm chasing because of fucking Twister,
Okay.
tell us a little bit about what you do.
Sure. I'm honestly the movie Twister, and if you've seen the new movie Twisters, I mean, not super far off. I mean, there aren't people getting sucked up by tornadoes chasing every single time, but yeah, that's really close. Fun fact, my chase partner Reed Timmer, the main character Tyler in the new movie was modeled after him. The writers went out with them for a while, and that's where they got all the ideas. And even their truck that has like the little screws, like we have the vehicle that has the spikes that go into the ground. We shoot
That's
rockets
sick.
into tornadoes, not fireworks. So they basically took a lot of things that we did and used them for the movie.
That's awesome.
I actually did a little background acting in the movie. I'm in a couple scenes.
Really?
Just in the background. Yeah. Like they like asked for real storm chasers to be a part of the movie. So I like sent in an audition tape and they're like, sure, come on in.
That's awesome.
I didn't talk or anything. I was just in the background, but it was still kind of cool.
All right, that's all I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna watch Tornado and be like,
Where's Edgar? Where's Edgar?
Because I watched it. I
But-
watched it the one time, but this would get me to watch it again.
Yeah, and so back to your question, like, so what we do, my team specifically, we call ourselves extreme storm chasers because our goal is to get close and usually inside of the tornado. We have sensors that are in our vehicle that measure data. We also have rockets that we shoot into tornadoes that measure data. A lot of fun stuff. We have probes and stuff like that as well. So that's kind of the goal of our team, and we do that. We're all self-funded. We don't get grants, but when we do find out things, we publish papers. My partner has a PhD in meteorology, so
It's awesome.
we're all official and stuff. But yeah, so that's what we do. We're out there chasing tornadoes. We don't just do tornadoes. We do tornadoes, hurricanes. We'll do snow sometimes, but Reed has to really try to talk me into doing snow if I'm going to do that. Because, like I said, I'm a Florida boy, not a big fan.
What would you do for like snow? Like just go into a blizzard or something like
Just
that? Or
for that point, it would be coverage. Like it's the most news coverage. It's weird these days because as weather creators, we're kind of finding ourselves on like kind of balancing on a side. Are we content creators? Are we actually news, or are we both? Because a lot of people now have left traditional news forms and went to
yeah.
TikTok, YouTube. I mean, that was one of the big arguments about not shutting down YouTube. It's free speech. A lot of people get their news from there.
Hmm.
And so a lot of people just watch our channels for their instead of the weather channel. So
Sure.
that's what we'll do out there for snowstorms. Usually we try to find like slick areas, report to people like, hey, you don't want to get out, you don't want to be out here, etc. But like I said, snow stuff isn't my favorite. Like tornadoes, number one. I like hurricanes too because I'm a Floridian. They're wild to be in themselves. So, um, yeah, that's what we do.
Dang.
We do it all over the United States. So everywhere, every state.
So like when's the busiest storm chasing season? Like
Mm-hmm. It's
summertime,
spring.
spring?
So storm. We always say it starts in March. It starts ramping up and then hits its peak in May, but then goes all the way into July. So I mean, you can have tornadoes any time of the year. We just had tornadoes like the first week of January,
Hmm.
but it just tornado season is where it's like okay, like almost every week there's going to be massive threats for tornadoes, and it
Jeez.
usually is in the plains or tornado alley that people call it. But then
Yeah.
also there's a lot of tornadoes in the southeast as well. People that's kind of slept on that area, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, Georgia, Florida. Those areas get a lot of tornadoes too.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's I know about Tornado Alley and stuff like that, but
Hmm.
I guess like I assumed that like, those other places get different types of storms and
Yeah.
not so much like tornadoes.
Yeah, they get other types of storms, and then there some tornadoes, but there's like I said, Tornado Alley and like the Dixie Alley is what they call the Southeast. Those get the most, but every state in the United States has had a tornado, which is funny. Even Alaska. A lot
Hmm.
of people always ask that, like, oh, like every state has had tornadoes, but definitely the concentration, like in May in the plains, is usually where everyone's out chasing. And it's I don't know if guys know how big and popular storm chasing is in the Midwest, but it's like when I talk about like we'll get stopped in a like one stoplight town with over 100 cars trying to go through these towns storm chasing, like not even a joke, over 100
Jeez.
because there's like us that do it professionally, and then it's a huge hobby thing here. Like,
Yeah.
like if you live in Oklahoma and like you probably are a storm chasing hobbyist.
Wow. All
Yeah,
right.
it's pretty crazy.
Have you ever made it up to Minnesota for storm chasing?
I did. I saw a tornado in the end of the summer this year up there. Right, we ended up too. Are you familiar with Lake Bemidji?
Yeah.
So we actually, after we chased, we went and spent like in the summer, like 3 days on Lake Bemidji on a pontoon boat, and we stayed up in Minnesota. It was nice. It was,
Nice. Yeah.
but no one told me that there's a ton of you guys have mosquitoes
Oh yeah.
that rival anyone. I thought all the bad
Yeah.
mosquitoes were in the South. No, I'm wrong.
Oh
They're up
no.
there. It's
Oh,
miserable.
Minnesota, especially if you come up to like Duluth and stuff. If anywhere that's more like rural, like Duluth, where I'm from, compared to Minneapolis, is very rural.
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, man, like mosquitoes are a nightmare up here.
yeah, yeah. We learned that. I mean, it was a lot of fun. Minnesota is absolutely gorgeous. Like
Yeah.
so slept on, and honestly has some of the most beautiful barn architecture as well. I'm into some weird nerdy things because I travel so much. But when you drive all the time, you get, and this goes back to even when I was touring in bands, like you got to find ways to entertain yourself when you're on the road. So you're like, you start getting into things like architecture. You're like, well, I want to see what this town looks like.
It's like some barn architecture.
Some barn architecture. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful up there. You guys get all those beautiful crystal clear lakes. It's amazing. Me and Reed have talked. We're going to try to spend some time there this summer, like maybe go for a week up there again, even if there's no tornadoes.
Hit us up. Hit me
Oh,
up.
I'm going to now, 100%. Like, that's going to happen. I mean, it's
Perfect.
really cool. Like when I saw you, what was cool is like, I love the fact that, I don't know, like I'm trying to bring like my punk roots back to my storm chasing as well. Like I did a rebrand recently on all my merch because I was just kind of doing like the corporate thing, but I was like, why would I do that? I'm just going to get merch that I like. So I just
Yeah,
started doing stuff that looked like, honestly, like merch from like the 90s and early 2000s band stuff that I'm getting ready to launch. So,
that's
uh,
super cool.
I enjoy and I listen to a lot of music still while I'm out chasing. So when
I'm
I'm
gonna
not
need
streaming, of course.
for sure. I'm gonna need me one of them punk rock shirts then.
Oh, you'll get one for sure. 100%. Yeah. I found a really rad artist, hired him. Very tattooy. I mean, kind of going back to my roots, so why
Yeah.
not?
Well, that's everybody's. You got that's how you'll stand out though. Being the punk rock one.
Yeah. I'm already it's honestly, I will say I w- I am a little bit of an outlier in the storm chasing community at times. But it's kind of cool. It actually helped me as far as a brand, like a
Yeah.
lot. Like you just said, people remember you. Like you come see some dude with this on their beard. You usually don't forget that, right? You're like, remember that dude with the weird blonde thing in his beard? Yeah. Or like covered in tattoos. There's not a lot of covered in tattoos storm chasers.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
They
but I
mostly
was one of the first ones that did it on TikTok too. So I get both of those. I get the like I always felt like I was on the outside, but then I was like, wait a second, I should use this to my advantage. I'm not
Mhm.
like everyone else that does this. That's
Right.
perfect.
Like, I mean, when I think of like storm chasers and stuff, I think of, realistically Carrie Ellis's character in
Yeah,
Twister. That
yeah,
dude,
that's
looking like that dude.
yep. What's funny is when I was on the background set of Twisters, like some of the stuff that isn't realistic was like the way they have all of us dressed, but they made me dress like him. Like, and what's crazy, so I have like full sleeves. They airbrushed all the tattoos off my hands, my arms, my head, and the back of my head every single day. I was like, why
That's
did you even hire me if you're gonna like it took like an hour. Like just to get all your tattoos airbrushed off. But then they had me in like this red flannel, like a beige color hat and some cargo pants. And I was like, yep, you
that's
guys have
so
a
funny.
stereotype of storm chasers.
That's so funny. Especially like why would you get rid of especially like the badass like weather one like on your hand, the
Yeah,
storm
I know,
hand.
right? Well, and then on my head, like I have a tornado on one side and then lightning bolts on the other. Like I'm like, you guys were missing out. You should just put this in the movie.
Yeah, you should have been the Twister.
They would have had to pay me way more than they did for that background. Honestly, tell you I hated the experience. I tell everyone I'll never be in a movie again, ever. Like just because it's miserable being on set. Like I have ADHD, I don't stand still, and the movie sets are a lot of just not doing anything. And
Sure.
I was terrible at that. Like I was just so bad. I'd just be like sitting there, like going crazy, walking in circles, sweating to death because I couldn't stop. It was the middle of summer in Oklahoma. I'm just pouring sweat, walking in circles, sweating my makeup off. It was quite a scene.
Just constantly looking for Helen Hunt for her to never come.
I know, right? So disappointed.
Oh,
Steven Spielberg was on set though, so that was kind of neat.
that's
But
pretty cool.
that's really
that was
cool.
cooler than any of the actors. I mean,
Well, yeah, it's
but
Steven Spielberg.
yeah, we got to meet. They let us like shake the hand of the actors. They were all cool. They were actually to those of us that were storm chasers. They were really curious. They were asking us questions, and we would try to have them. They can't really come out. The type of chasing we do is a little too dangerous. They went out and chased with some other people, but we always say like we can't guarantee survival if you come with us. So that usually makes most people be like, I'm out.
Yeah, sorry, dude.
Yeah, like it's funny. Everyone wants the storm chase, right? Like they want to do a ride along, and I'm really honest. Like I don't try to scare you. I just tell you what's really going to happen. And so many people want to do it until you get in that moment where like we're actually looking at a tornado and we're driving as fast as we can directly at it. Like that's when you can start seeing them like they have like straight up panic attacks sometimes in the car, like
I'll
we
bet.
took these dudes called the Nelk Boys. I don't know if you know who they are. They're like these massive like YouTubers. They do like million like they like yeah, they're like they interviewed like Trump before the presidency. They interviewed like Bernie Sanders. They're like big, like you and we brought them with us and they're like these tough guys. They're kind of like the modern day version of Jackass.
Okay.
But we took them out there and like they were all good until we got close. And they
All right,
were
guys,
just like,
that's enough. That's
no,
enough.
stop, screw it. They were screaming like in the video, you see them like covering their eyes and stuff. It just they happened to come with us on a crazy outbreak where there was like we saw like 14 tornadoes that day. Like they just came on one of the happened to be we intercepted, meaning we drove inside of 2 of those tornadoes that day. And they were losing it. And it's hectic too, because like sometimes we forget to roll the window up. Like Reed always leaves his window down, and like in the video
In
you
a
can see like
tornado?
debris. Oh yeah, debris comes to the car, just slaps one of my friends right in the face with the debris. We're like, roll your window up, dude.
Holy crap.
Oh, yeah,
That's
we have fun. Like I
you
said, we're
party.
we do. We're on the like I said, I think extreme is the right word. We take a lot of criticism in the storm chasing community because we're too dangerous. But, that's just what we do. I mean, somebody's got to get in there and put sensors inside the tornado, so it might as well be us.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to act like I don't like it because I do. It's fun.
It
It's
sounds
awesome.
sounds intense and it's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, seeing like something like a tornado, how many people get to see it like close up, right? And it's crazy how powerful they are. So like when you're just come face to face with one of those things, it's wild. Like I mean, right in front of you just see like houses blowing around, roofs getting ripped off right in front of you. Like it's like you really realize that we don't have anything on Mother Nature.
Right.
Like I posted a quote on my TikTok. What is it that I can't think of a quote, but something along the lines is there's nothing that we can make that Mother Nature can't destroy. And it's true. Like, I mean, it's the power of Mother Nature is intense. With this past year, Greenfield, Iowa tornado, probably the craziest tornado footage I ever shot, which was the one where it went through the wind turbines, and just started shredding wind turbines. And I'm just like sitting here with my bare eyes, just watching. You've seen how big, how big wind
Oh
turbines
Oh
are.
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, these tornadoes were hitting them and just ripping them like they're paper, just shredding them and throwing them in the air. And I'm just like videoing it. Like, can't believe what I'm looking at right in this moment. Just like Mother Nature just destroying these windmills. And that's the part when we're out chasing. It's always fun and it's exciting. But then when you start seeing things get destroyed, you get kind of taken back to the reality of, wow, this is like affecting people. It's affecting their lives.
Hmm.
And that's when I always say you're always conflicted when you're out there because you want to see a tornado because that's what your goal is, right? Our goal is to find one to get data from, but we don't ever want to see it like hit homes or that part
Right.
of it. That's when that sick feeling comes in your stomach when you see it. Oh man, it's heading towards the town. And that one unfortunately did. The Greenfield one like wiped out the town. And it was one of the tornadoes with I think it was either the first or the second highest wind speeds ever recorded in a tornado this
And
year.
so when you are around those and you see them like hitting towns and stuff, do you go to the town afterwards and stuff or
Absolutely.
yeah.
I think it's a rule as a storm chaser. Like if you're going to be out there and do it, you better help if you come upon it. Now, I'm not going to try to like I'm not a medic. I am like training CPR and some other things, but I'm not like a full-on medic. So like usually what we're trying to do is just hold the fort down until emergency services can get there. Because we're there before them, obviously.
Right.
And a lot of the time, like these, especially in Tornado Alley, actually almost everywhere, like the first responders know it's a big day, and they're usually all staged somewhere waiting.
Sure.
And then so they get there kind of fast. But yeah, I mean, there was a particular one last year where Rolling Fork, Mississippi. I don't know if you remember that. This was back in 2023. I mean, it was bad. So like it was a town that had went through a lot of economic struggles. Um, no sirens went off in the town. It was a tornado that hit at night, and it was an EF4. I mean, I'm
Holy
talking about,
shit.
it destroyed like just homes and all that was there, and it like hit their only hospital and where their first responders are. And then it hit a
Wow.
couple other towns, so other towns couldn't even come and help. And so it was only us storm chasers for like 3 hours, like pitch
Jeez.
black. You just hear moaning and screaming. Like it's an intense. I don't ever wish anyone have to like experience that, or even as a chaser, like it's a lot on you mentally to be like right there after someone's experienced like a major tragedy like that. Because people are just walking around like zombies too. It's
Mhm.
like I said, the scene that you see doing that is, I mean, it just smells like you smell all the natural gas from all the pipelines. It smells like that combined with like burnt things. And then you just, like I said, everyone's just walking with these super flat looks on their face, like of disbelief. Because like when these tornadoes come through, like especially these big devastating ones, like you don't recognize the block you live on anymore. Like
Yeah.
you just don't even know. You're just like, it just, and at night, and you can imagine at night there, and there was no electricity because it knocked it all out. I mean, it was an insane situation. But yes, that was a proud day, a day I was proud of storm chasers because I probably saw about 20 to 30 storm chasers. We were all out there pulling people out of houses, getting them ready, getting triage ready so that when the medics got there, everything would be good. So it is definitely something as storm chasers that you do. If you're out there, like you have to. It's like I feel like it's part of the code. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure all of those people like can't thank you guys enough, and we're lucky to people are lucky to have you guys out there, not only gathering
Yeah,
data, but helping take care of people afterwards.
for sure. And there's cool there. Like we focus a lot on data. There are a lot of storm chasers out there that are focused on first responding too. So that's cool. There are some guys out there.
It's awesome.
Like we do it when we can, we can because we have like our in mission is a little bit different, but we help when we can. But there's also guys out there. Oh man, they're awesome. They just have like their cars full of like chainsaws. They're just ready to go.
Dang.
Like full, like even one of my friends, they have like defibrillators in the back of their car. Like, I mean, they're ready. It's kind of insane.
They're kind of like the Storm Chaser 911 people.
Pretty much. I mean, yeah. I mean, there's that. And what's crazy is there's a lot of drama in the storm chasing community between storm chasers and meteorologists. Like a lot of people don't think that what we do is the movie Twisters is so real in a lot of senses. Remember if you saw the new one, there was that one part where like Tyler and them pull up and like the like sciencey nerd guys, like or like the corporate guys were like, there it is, any hillbilly with a YouTube channel is a storm chaser now. Like that was literally us. I was like, they're talking about us. That's what we are. But no, there can be a little bit of tension between the two, just because, I mean, there are some chasers, like sometimes we're known as like being a little bit more reckless, and I guess it's just anything in this world. There's going to be confrontation,
right.
But I try to just look past it all.
It's probably like a lot of it's probably people having problem with competition,
Oh, for sure.
Gotta dislike somebody else doing the same thing I'm doing.
Oh yeah. And as you get more success in life, I definitely am learning that there's more and more people that like kind of have a target on you, which is, it's sad that it's like that, but I guess it's just part of it. Means you're doing something right, I guess. That's what I tell myself. I try to anyway.
True.
So, what made you want to become a storm chaser?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. So I have like an incredibly complex life story, but let's just say I moved to Oklahoma in 2012, and me and my family had to we had to run from the biggest tornado in history, the El Reno tornado. This tornado was 2.5 miles wide. So like this wasn't how long the path was. Like at any given time, this tornado was 2.5 miles in width. It's a massive tornado. And so I didn't know anything about storm chasing. I just moved from Jacksonville, Florida, to Oklahoma. So I didn't have like a real understanding of tornadoes, and it was petrified. I mean, like I had to take my kids and my wife and my dogs. We were trying to find storm shelters. It was traumatizing. And then after that, I was like, you know what? If I'm going to live in Oklahoma, I need to learn about it. And so I asked my wife if she knew anyone that was a storm chaser, because I'd heard a lot of people talk about storm chasers since I'd moved to Oklahoma. And she was like, yeah, one of my coworkers is. And I was like, do you think he'll let me go on a ride along? And so she asked him, and he took me on a ride along, and then I was hooked. And he was kind enough for like 2 years to kind of show me the ropes, teach me like, because we do our own forecasting, everything. So he started teaching me the ropes on all that kind of stuff. And then once I learned the ropes of all that, I started doing it on my own. But yeah, that's how I got it out of fear. My dad used to always tell me that, fear is usually comes because you don't have knowledge about something. It's like lack of knowledge is fear. And
Yeah.
so I was like, you know what, then let me learn about it. And I had no idea that thing that I feared like that was just going to become like, it's a career now, but it was going to become an obsession. Like it's crazy how that can flip once you start learning about something. And they're fascinating. Just tornadoes are fascinating, man.
Yeah. That's cool. That's awesome. Just fucking went for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. And like I didn't mean to do this as a career either. I was a social worker at the University of Oklahoma when I got ready to quit. But I just made like a TikTok video, and then I did one TikTok live, and it blew up. And then all of a sudden I was like getting sponsor offers. Like, wait a second, I can do this for a career. And literally a joke, like literally, this was at the time there wasn't any weather creators on TikTok. This was early days of TikTok when it was basically known as like the app that like teenage girls and guys dance on, which I don't
Yeah.
know if it was ever really just that app, but that was like when I would tell people I was on TikTok, they'd be like, "Oh, I thought that was just for people dancing." Um, and I just so happened I struck a chord with people and got a lot of followers really fast. And then it's like, you know what? I'm quitting my job. I quit my job at the University of Oklahoma. That was 4 years ago now.
Yeah.
Um,
Now you're a dominator,
yeah,
dominating
I'm so yeah.
storms.
Yeah, it's a crazy. And I just got with Reed last year. So and that was like when you talk about my career went to another level. I mean, Reed's had like multiple shows on Discovery Channel, National Geographic, Disney Channel. And when I
Wow.
joined it up with him, it was like the amount of like eyes that get on you become a lot more. And so I'm super grateful to that because my brand just took off last year.
That's
It's
awesome.
crazy. Yeah. Like I owe a lot to Reed and Team Dominator. But like I said, it's been fun. Like I can't wait to keep it going. And like what's funny is like when TikTok went away, like, the Red Note app, the actual app that was from China, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna put some of my storm chasing stuff on there and see what happens. And in 3 days, I have like 86,000 followers in China.
Jeez.
And I'm like, wow, people then I find I'm like, now I'm starting to think like, man, there's people in other countries that I think were untapped markets. They're very
Yeah.
interested in this because they've never seen anything like that. And so it's a really interesting field to be in. Like I'm like, I don't know what to sell am I a professional storm chaser or am I a professional content creator? I don't really know what to call myself, but it's a combination of all those things.
Yeah, I mean, it does you don't have to be defined by one thing. You
That's
know,
true.
like, just like, I
I
mean,
don't gotta
if you
put it in a
look at
box.
it, like realistically, let's look at just like a basic meteorologist on TV, Well,
Hmm.
there are meteorologist and a TV personality. They're
It's
they're
true. They're
this,
both. Yeah, you're
it's
right.
you're the same. You just same thing.
Yeah,
You just
it's
kind of
it's
all
hard
over.
because like I feel like especially as like we just always want to put ourselves in these nice little boxes and categories. And
Yeah.
but you're right. That was a good way. I'm glad you said it like that. I can think of it that way more. Like I'm just all of it. Like I'm
Yeah.
both. Like you can be both at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I absolutely can't. Like I still like I get a smile when I talk about it because I can't believe that I do it for a living still. Like
Yeah.
I'm in that phase. Like I have to imagine that this is what it feels like to be in a band that makes it. Like because I had a lot of years playing in bands, so I compare a lot to that.
Yeah.
And that's what this feels like. It feels like I finally got my break. Like which is kind of cool.
That's
Because I never
awesome.
got that really as an artist. I like when I played in bands, like we draw like 150 to 200 people like up and down the East Coast in the 90s, early 2000s, and then I managed bands that had success. But as being in a band, I never got like the big success, like a breakthrough. And so it's kind of cool. I mean, I'm 44. My breakthrough was on TikTok, but I'll take it. It was still kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of went right into that. You went to, Full Sail University, managed
Yep.
bands. You're in a band yourself called Stalemate.
Yeah, that was actually the pop punk band too. Like
Yeah.
the we were in the I always call it the golden age of Christian pop punk in the late 90s, early 2000s. Like there was that big Christian pop punk scene. We were a part of that for a little while. I still think that's crazy to think about that time. Like I mean, Christian and hardcore bands were like dominating
Dude,
like the scene back then.
it was so weird because like Christian pop punk, it had its popular bands, it was definitely
Yeah,
popular. Like you had MXPX, like Ace Troubleshooter. You had a bunch of
Reliant
like
K. Yeah.
Ryan
Reliant K.
K.
You had a bunch of bands that were like doing cool stuff. But there was something different about like the Christian like metalcore scene and shit.
Oh my gosh.
It was another fucking if it was a metalcore band, it was a Christian band. It
Oh
just
yeah.
was.
What I think about this is what's crazy is like I used to be religious. I don't really go to church or anything anymore. I don't care if other people do that, but like this was back in the early 2000s. I was like throw shows at churches. I don't know if y'all did that up there. Pretty sure it
Yeah,
happened everywhere. Then like,
everywhere.
dude, the first show I brought was Norma Jean, like just these crazy metal bands, and it was in my church. And I think about that now. I'm like, you would never see that now.
No.
But you know what? Don't you think that was like kind of a cool time? Like I remember having like that's where I got introduced to other ideologies other than even Christianity was through punk rock.
Yeah.
Because like that scene was cool back then. Like you could be atheist, Christian, like but we were all like, we all went
Just
to the
chill.
same shows. We all hung
Yep.
out with each other. We didn't give a shit that other people
Yeah.
didn't believe the same thing that we did. It was really interesting. I do miss that part of the scene like a lot, a lot.
It was it was so like it was so weirdly inclusive about that because like you couldn't nowadays, right, do that same exact, not the same exact thing, because like the Christian metalcore bands especially were preaching on stage.
Oh yeah, it was a
All of
service. It was
all of them in between songs were like,
they prayed for
they'd be
people at their
they'd be
concerts.
playing their shit and be, like little ditty stuff, and they'd be like, I don't know about what you believe, my friends, but me, like, and it was just
And
like,
they would
but
always turn it into a mosh call too, like
yeah,
when they. But
but then
it was there were so many good bands. Like still I think honestly one of the best metal bands ever is Living Sacrifice. It's a Christian band. Like just technically that band was amazing. Like it's just crazy to think that those were just like all Christian. They were preaching at shows. It's wild.
it's also hilarious that As They Lay Dying was one of the most famous Christian metalcore bands, and look where we are today, my friend.
They've had a few issues.
a few.
But I'm actually glad they're like, because we all knew like in that hardcore and pop punk scene there were problematic people. Not a lot of them, but there were. I'm actually just happy that there hasn't been more. So we had the guy from Newfound Glory too, right? He like there was a lot of
there was like there was a thing, yeah.
But nothing matches trying to murder your wife.
Well, I mean, not in the. Lost Prophets. Like
That's true. Okay,
yeah.
I mean,
they were pretty rough. I never considered them as part of the scene because I always hated them. But
not.
yeah, you're right.
They just don't exist in my mind
them,
ever.
Right? I don't claim them at all.
No one lays claim to that band.
Like I'm not about saying that that's not punk anymore, but for that, I'll say that's not punk.
No.
They're not punk rock. They don't embrace any of that. None of the ideologies.
They're not anything.
No worry. We all know they would have fallen off anyways.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. 100%.
They were going to be a one-hit wonder band.
Yep.
Yes, that's exactly 100%.
For sure. Fuck that. Fuck them, their music.
There you go. I'm okay with that too.
Where are we even on this? We kind of combined a whole bunch of stuff in here.
Oh yeah, we're
I
just
assume this was your question right here.
Oh yeah, well, okay, yeah, I'll pop it. I'll ask that one too. So like Stalemate, right?
Okay.
Sent me over the Mitch EP.
Okay,
super nostalgic, fun as shit. So what did you do in the band? Like what position were you?
It depends on what era of the band. So I was either playing bass or guitar, depending on what lineup we have. We bounced around. But in the Mitch EP, I played both guitar parts. We were like in between some band members at the time. Yeah, I played both the guitars. Did some writing as well, like me and the singer wrote. And then we had some other people that would write as well. Like I said, that's the band I'm still in a group chat with. People don't realize, so half that band was Evergreen Terrace. What Stalemate was Evergreen Terrace. And so Stalemate, when Stalemate broke up, the half went to Evergreen. The half of us went to Evergreen Terrace, and then my half, we went to a hardcore band called Enamored. We were assigned to this DTF's Records is what it was called. But there were some pretty big bands on there. But yeah, we split, and then Evergreen Terrace just took off. Jacksonville music scene at the time, Jacksonville, Florida, was nuts. I mean, at the same time, it was like, because it was like us and Yellow Card and then you had like the Inspection 12. I don't know if you're familiar with them. Awesome pop punk band. And they got signed to Honest Dons back in the day. Remember that was a big deal for all of us. And and then Red Jumpsuit Apparatus came out later from Jacksonville. Like Jacksonville has a nice little pop punk scene. I'm not gonna lie.
I didn't know that.
I didn't.
We had a lot of dirt rock too, but like Puddle of Mud and stuff like that. But we won't talk about those guys.
My favorite thing that's ever come out of Puddle of Mud is that fucking Nirvana like video that of him singing, and he's just his like his mouth, his voice is just exploding. He can't hit the notes. It is.
What's funny? I have a funny story about Puddle of Mud. Like I used to, I back in the day, somebody drew a picture of me when I was a manager, and it was like a long beard, and it was like I'm balding, but I just had like all this crazy hair, looked like Rick Ross or something.
but way cooler.
Someone drew a shirt and put it on there. And so I was selling them. My friend like had this business where they would go to like rescue women that were being sex trafficked. So like, I want to do a fundraiser. Well, Puddle of Mud ended up buying my shirts and wearing them for a whole tour. So on Facebook, I would get tagged everywhere because of facial recognition. The early one they would pick it up on the shirt. And so I would just be like tagged in hundreds of photos. So when people would take pictures of Puddle of Mud and put them on Facebook, it would tag me in it because my face was on the shirt they were wearing.
That's awesome.
That was one of
if
my
only that was
Puddle of
a
Mud
thing right now
stories.
still.
Oh, that would be
yeah.
awesome.
That would be cool.
I for like my own like personal merch for my Twitch streams, I have a shirt of me wearing a shirt of me.
There you go. I love that.
I would get tagged in everything.
That's branding on branding, baby.
That's awesome.
So you're taking us with you, right? We're on a ride along, and you're like, "All right, boys, we're going in. What artists are you gonna put on to get us pumped up for it?"
Well, unfortunately, because we stream, I can never do that anymore. But I used to put on music before I streamed, and so honestly, it wasn't usually punk. Like, well, I mean, depends on what you consider. But like, I usually like I get jacked up to like Rage Against the Machine still.
Okay.
I mean, I still grew up in the '90s, so like a lot of Rage Against the Machine. I like that when I'm getting ready to storm chase. What's funny is another Jacksonville band that I don't even really like, but there's something about it that gets you pumped up is Limp Bizkit.
Dude, hold on, homie. I kid
Please tell me you got like a Nookie shirt on.
Oh,
yeah. So you know those guys are from Jacksonville too, right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we all like that music scene. They grew up in the same one with like us and Yellow Card, and I know all those guys. They like actually the Mitchie P. Wes Borland came to the studio when we recorded it.
That's so cool. That you heard.
The Jacksonville music scene was very tight, very tight back then. But then Limp Bizkit was obviously the first one from that era that just, I mean, when I say they blew up, it was
yeah.
They came out with that Faith cover again.
Yeah,
I gotta have Faith cover. People don't realize that was the first song that really just put them on the map. And then
I know, like that's the first song I ever heard of them, and I love Limp Bizkit.
They're a guilty love. Like that first record, I don't
feel guilty at all.
The $2 Bill, y'all, that album, like that one was like more metal and hardcore, right?
It's so
like
good.
You could tell it had influences. The newer stuff was more polished, but I'm not gonna lie, man. Like just popping on, break some shit. Like when you're getting ready to like just rage. Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah.
And they're like still playing. I kind of admire them now. They've just embraced that they're old men, and like Fred Durst goes out on stage looking so goofy and doesn't give a shit.
That's where I got this shirt.
Awesome. Yeah, they've still put on an amazing show. They always were great performers. I'll say that.
I'll tell you, like I was just at that's where I got this. I was at the Loserville tour, and
badass.
Limp was good. They played Break Stuff twice, which was a little disappointing because it's like, come on.
You could have loved other songs.
There's a lot of songs that they could have picked instead of playing that twice.
Yeah.
Corey Feldman was so fun to see live.
I've watched so many videos.
That's what we bought the tickets for. I'm not going to lie to you, to see Corey Feldman. But I'll tell you, I would say check this dude out. Like, honestly, stole the show to me was a artist called Nate No Face.
Okay.
Fucking awesome. Awesome. Stole the show.
Awesome. I'll have to check it out. I'm always looking for new music, so
it's very unique. Very unique.
I'm hoping. Yeah.
It was just him on stage, just fucking running around. He just turns a keyboard on and just running around. He's like smashing the mic in his head, and
sounds entertaining.
It was very entertaining.
That's awesome. I'll probably text you to get the name of that band so I can check it out later.
Yes.
That reminds me, I went to a house show once, and there's this dude, like I have no idea who he was. It was like a bunch of my friends' band playing, and no one's ever heard of this dude. And I was like, what is this? Who is this guy? And everyone's like, I don't know. He says something about a noise set. I was like, okay. Dude literally walks up, just plugs a guitar amp, plugs his phone into it, and it's just like the 1,000 Miles piano playing over and over and over again. And he just slams a piece of glass on the floor, jumps into it, says, yeah, 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 and it starts like pounding on something. Yeah, yeah. I was like, they cut him off so quick. I was like,
that's awful.
That's what you're supposed to see at house shows, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's punk rock as fuck, though.
I was
Yeah,
like,
like definitely played a lot of basement
it
shows in
left
my
the
day.
memory. I couldn't tell you anything else about that show, but I remember that.
Basement shows
Yeah.
are some of the best, man.
Oh yeah. That was our, in Florida, we don't have basement. So like when we go on tour, we toured a lot in the Northeast. And so like when you get up there, everyone has basements. We played
Yeah.
so many basement shows when we were first grinding. Crazy stuff happened. Be playing for like 10 people. Someone's like doing crack in the corner, like insane things.
Dude, there's nothing cooler though than when you're playing a basement show and it's like fucking packed to the brim.
Oh yeah, those are
Oh yeah.
awesome.
People hanging off of pipes and shit.
Yeah, the craziest house show. This was actually in Stalemate, and I'm not super proud of this, but like we used to get in a lot of like tour shenanigans. So we played this show, and it was okay. And this kid was like, "Hey, you want to do a house show late tonight afterwards?" Like, yes, we do, always, because we just always want to get in the mischief. Whereas parents were out of town, but it was this really nice house. Dude, things got out of hand. I'm talking about this house got destroyed. I'm talking about all the drywall and the ceiling was get like by all the people like that were moshing. Somebody they had like prize winning poodles. Somebody died the poodles, and I think one of the poodles died. Like it was just like one of these situations to where I was like,
Jeez.
I will never have this again in my life. But I'm not gonna lie, it's still kind of fun to remember that. Like, like I don't know, you couldn't do that anymore. We'd all went to jail for what
Yeah.
happened there. But yeah, the punk rock scene was just wild. Like teenagers would just be like, "Yeah, come play at my house."
hmm No, like that was the thing. Like it in the like earlier 2000s and shit. It was nuts. Like you'd play anywhere. You'd play at, VFWs. I mean, yeah, some people still do that now, but it's really just not the same. You'd play in people's houses. Uh if a
Denny's.
show got yeah, Denny's, if your show got canceled, a lot of times somebody would just be like, "Yo, come to my house and either play or like play an acoustic set," and there would be people there somehow.
Oh yeah. I remember going to you remember there's a Christian festival called Cornerstone? I don't know
Yeah,
if
I
you ever
played
remember
at it.
that. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we did too. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So there was the first year we ever went. Like I remember there was just we didn't even have a stage, but some kids just brought some plywood and
Yep.
like some other stuff and we just played, but for like 300 people. Like it was
Yeah.
crazy. Like
Dude,
it was just DIY back then was awesome.
Cornerstone was a wild like event. It
It's
was a
crazy that was a Christian festival now that I think back on it, but
yeah.
it was amazing. It was
It
crazy.
was.
Some of the best live perform. I love a band called Five Iron Frenzy.
Oh yeah.
They're like
Five Iron Friends is awesome.
yeah. So like I saw one of their best shows I ever saw was at Cornerstone. It was so much fun.
Yeah. My best you might even know him or his band. My best friend Sam Dean. He's the owner of Plug Your Holes. And he's the one that got us. He played bass for a short while. We were in a band called And Then I Turned Seven or Jamestown Story, both names. But he started out in a metalcore band called Foreknown, and they were all over the place all the time, just constantly on tour. And
Yeah.
so he was my introduction into the Christian metalcore scene, because boy howdy did he used to do a lot of the preaching stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I never did a lot of the preaching stuff. Definitely, if I look back, there was probably some cringeworthy moments. Yeah, it was weird. Even though it was, I always say it was like a special scene that was weird. Like, because there'd be someone preaching, but like half the people there just wouldn't even be Christian and no one even
Yeah,
cared. Like now, if you did that honestly, like they would just get booed or like it's something. But back then,
right.
everyone was just kind of we were all tolerant of each other. We were
Yeah.
like, okay, well, we don't believe that. Like, and if you
It
think
just
about it,
didn't.
the fundamentalism of Christianity and punk rock shouldn't go together, right? It doesn't make any sense.
Sure.
But I always say punk rock saved my life. That community is so open, it was
Yeah.
like how loving. In some ways, what's funny is the punk rock scene was more like the church than the church was back then, just to
Right.
be quite honest. It was a very cool scene.
Yeah. 100%. All right. So we got one more question before we go to our quick break. If you give our listeners a piece of advice, let's say the piece of advice, instead of music wise though, if somebody were interested in storm chasing, right?
Yeah.
Piece of advice that you now know that you wish you knew when you were first starting out, what would that be?
how, I mean, honestly, just how important it is to get out there and physically see storms with your eyes, not to get close to them, but like our storm chasing is one of those things you can take courses, you can do all these online things, but you really only learn about it by getting out there and experiencing it. So that's what I always tell people, like, find someone, get out there and just experience storm chasing.
Yeah.
And like there's nothing for this. You just can't replicate it any other way. That, and then if you're trying to be a creator and you're a storm chaser, one of the biggest things that I had to learn, that I'll tell everyone, like, if you're trying to make money doing it and you want to do it, you're not making content for other storm chasers. Remind yourself of that.
Yeah.
You're making content for other people. And so a lot of storm chasers get caught in this mode where you're making content for other storm chasers. And that's like being in a punk rock band if you're only making music for other bands. It makes no sense. Other bands other bands want free stuff. They don't buy merch. Same thing with storm chasers, right? So that's not the fans you want. You want the fans that aren't the storm chasers. So that's the piece of advice I'd give to anyone that's trying to get into storm chasing for a living.
Smart. Yeah, man, that's so that hits so close to home and so true. Yeah, you got to make content for other people, not just your peers.
Yeah, if you want to make money off of it. Now, if you just want to do it for the sake of like I also respect the artist. It's like, I don't care what anyone else thinks. I'm just going to make what I like.
True.
Cool. I'm always for that. But like, we live in a world where it takes money to do things. And if you want money to do things, especially in storm chasing, you better know how to do social media.
Yeah. Well, it almost that applies to like anything creatively at this point
100%.
in time, like if you want to try and be a career, anything creative, you better know or figure out how to social media.
Yeah, because there's more competition than ever at everything now.
Yep.
Because the internet has made everything accessible to everyone, which is amazing. But there's competition that's going to come with that. Just like you guys, right? Like how many? I mean, there's tons of podcasts. Like there's all these things. You have to consider that when you're coming up with a plan if you want to do it for a living.
Yes, very true. Whew. All right, and with that, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with our next segment.
Today's episode is sponsored by Chattanooga Beard Company. Are you looking for a quality company to help sexify your beard? Turn it up to 11. Take it to a whole new level. I have tried lots of other products over the many years it's taken to grow these luscious face locks. And then I tried Chattanooga Beard Company, and I kid you not, it changed my beard's life. Their products are made from quality ingredients like sweet almond oil, jojoba oil, coconut oil, beeswax, lanolin, and shea butter. I have at home their shampoo and their conditioner, 2 different scented beard balms, 1838, which is wood, amber, and grapefruit, and churchwarden, which is pipe tobacco and wild cherries, and freedom. I also have 2 of their beard oils, Clean Slate, which is bergamot and lime, and Iron Forged, which smells like coffee and chocolate, and you just want to eat it. My wife loves the smell of their Clean Slate oil. It's been a game changer. You don't have to take my word for it, because who am I other than the lovely looking man with this lovely looking beard? Try it for yourself. Just go to www.chattanoogabeard.co and snag any of these products or one of their other many scents and styles. And as a bonus, if you use our code Unsigned Pop Punk at checkout, you're going to get 15% off your order. So if you love your beard, or you love someone with a beard, try out Chattanooga Beard Company. You won't be mad you did. We've now partnered with Open Your Ears Records to help bring even more new artists to your attention. Open Your Ears Records is an amazing independent record label out of Richmond, Virginia. They've got a killer lineup of up-and-coming bands and artists. This week, we want to talk to you about Denver, Colorado alt-rock indie band called Elektric Animals. Last year, they released a phenomenal EP called A Bear and the Bull. And on January 31st, they just released a B-side from that EP called I Think So. I Think So was co-written by Lincoln Parrish, original guitar player of Cage the Elephant. Electric Animals has been featured on Shameless, The Good Doctor, and MTV's Teen Mom. So clearly, you can't go wrong. What you're hearing right now is a sample of the track. So if it's up your alley, go stream the hell out of it right now. Thank you so much to Open Your Ears Records for sponsoring this episode.
And we're back. Thanks so much for sticking around. It's time for everybody's favorite segment. It's the Food for Thought segment. It's time to get hungry. It happens every time. So let's start out with a fun one. Since you're on the now, you've been doing on the road since touring and bands and stuff, and now you're on the road a lot for chasing storms and stuff.
Yes.
So with that existence, with most of your existence being on the road, what snacks or foods keep you going during the long drives?
Oh man, I'm a sucker for like anything that's gummy. So I'm definitely like a little bit of a sugar person. So yeah, I try to keep those. And honestly, like one of our biggest, you got to keep lots of snacks because there's not a lot of time for breaks in storm chasing.
Sure.
So yeah, like, but I keep those. I love to keep granola bars around too. I'm just old fashioned. So, but gummies are like, if it just like as a snack, still that's my favorite. Any type of gummies.
Like, what's your favorite of gummies though?
I like, let's see, like I like any of the like anything that's like sour, like apple. Like, but I do like just like the old, like, was it the gummy bears, the traditional
Sour gummy worms?
I do like anything that's, honestly, man, I'm so not picky as long as it's not terrible. I love any gummy. I even love gummy adjacent things like Swedish fish and stuff like that as well.
Yeah. I mean, I also agree. I really enjoy gummy stuff. That's my jam. One of my old people loves, and I feel like it's kind of the old person gummy candy, or dots.
Oh.
I have a love for dots.
I like them too. Yeah, they just get stuck all in your teeth.
Yeah. What
They're
about licorice type stuff? Is that
I like
thing?
black licorice.
Yes.
I'm one of the weirdos. Like,
no,
when
when
I go
licorice.
to like one of those old fashioned candy stores, the first thing I do is try their licorice. I'm like, ooh, let's see what their black licorice is like every time. Yeah,
dude, I love black licorice. It's my jam.
People either hate it or love it. Do you find that the truth too? Like, if you tell people that you want black licorice, they're like, oh,
most people are like, fuck you, get out of here.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Leave my house.
It's so good though.
I agree.
I don't know what it is, but it is good.
It's delicious. It is definitely what people consider an old person thing, but I'm like, I liked it when I was young though. So I've always liked it.
I'm okay with being old at this point. I'm just gonna just roll with it. I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
I can be old. Why not?
Yeah,
I still chase
fair.
storms, and I'm popular on TikTok. So
Still
that has to make me a
badass.
little younger, right?
Sure.
That has to take a few years off.
What's your beverage of choice while you're out?
This is gonna be really boring. It's just water, just to stay hydrated.
That's fair.
While I'm out chasing, that's usually water. I am kind of addicted to like not normal Gatorade, but like those hydration Gatorades. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, those Gator Lights or something like that.
Oh,
yeah. I'll get some of those too.
You see, I like them. Some of them feel too salty to me sometimes.
Yeah, that's what makes them all that sodium in there is what makes them like Pedialyte or whatever. But it really helps, like if you I get dehydrated so easy for some reason. So having those are and I quit drinking like caffeine like 4 years ago, so I don't do caffeine anymore. That like took out the majority because I love coffee. If it was pre me having caffeine, my answer would have been I would have had coffee all the time in the car.
Do you like black coffee, just standard, or you like your?
I still just drink decaf black coffee sometimes. So.
Oh, okay.
It's like coffee without a purpose. That's how you know you really like it.
It is. Yeah. Yeah, it's like non-alcoholic beer, you know?
Yeah. What's the point? Yeah, like storm, and when you're out there storm chasing too, it's like if you don't have those things, and I have ADHD, so if I don't have those things really close to me and out, like I'll realize I'll get through the whole chase and not have drank anything or not have eaten anything, and then I'll just be in like the most shit mood afterwards or something. You know, I'll be like, oh, it's because I haven't eaten in 12 hours. That's why. But yeah, snacks are an important part of self-care when you're out storm chasing.
That makes sense. I could totally see that. Like you gotta just have like just sacks of snacks and stuff with you. Or is
Oh yeah.
like you're saying, like there's not a ton of chance to stop, and get food or get snacks and stuff. I mean, like a lot of the times you're kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Oh yeah, there's not even anywhere to stop and get food usually, so especially if you're up in like North Dakota or something, there's like nothing up there. So
yeah, just stopping at Farmer John's for some eggs or something.
Oh yeah.
Just roll on up to a farm and be like, "Excuse me, sir. Can I have food?"
They'd probably give it to you, honestly.
Can I have food?
They're very kind up there.
Just roll up like, hey, we're chasing the storm, man. It's about to hit your farm. Can we get some food real quick? we're ahead this time.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, like if we're in the Dominator, those people, they don't know what to think if we pull in their driveway because it looks like it could be like an armored vehicle, like it looks like it could be in the military. So like we pull up in it and people are like, what? What's happening?
Oh shit.
What did we do?
It's fair.
Yeah.
All right. Gibby.
Okay.
It's time.
So I have a list here.
Okay.
It's the most iconic food in Oklahoma.
Okay.
According to the Food Network.
According to the Food Network. So this is like a grain of salt.
Should I guess them or are you gonna
there's a list. I'm gonna pick out. Should we do 5?
Just do 5. Top 5.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna pick out 5 random ones. You're gonna rank them, but you don't know what's coming next.
Oh, okay, cool.
But you can't change your ranking either.
Yeah, you just gotta power rank it.
So once you put it at 3, it's at 3.
It's there. Okay, cool. That's easy.
All right. So I assume this one is probably the most iconic one of them all because it was on every single list I saw. So we'll start with this one. The Theta Burger.
Yeah, that's a number 1.
What is a Theta burger?
That's similar? I'm assuming it's like an onion smash burger. Is that what you're talking about?
No. So the onion burger is on this list.
Oh wait, then I'm taking it back. I thought that's what you're talking
burger.
about. I don't know what a Theta burger is. Then I thought that was done.
It says Rousestown Tavern in Norman received so many orders from the Theta sorority, the university. It's mayonnaise and hickory. It's pickles, mayonnaise, and hickory sauce.
If it has mayonnaise on it, I'm gonna put it at 5. Then I'm changing my pick because it's not the onion burgers. I thought that's what we were talking about.
Yeah, that fried onion burger is also on this list, and boy, does that look good.
That is the number 1 without hesitation. I promise.
All right, cool. So we got number 1 and number 5 because I was going to be on the list. That was going to be coming out.
Okay, sweet.
Dang, yeah, like this looks so good.
It does.
Yeah. Like I've seen like foodies do this where they rank like states based on their number 1 food, and like this usually gets in the S tier because that's how good they are. Like you wouldn't think that for Oklahoma.
So you don't you don't really do caffeine, but I just found out that Sonic is actually from Oklahoma, and that's why Cherry Limeade is on this list.
Oh yeah.
I think Cherry Limeade does not have caffeine in it.
No, there's no caffeine in Cherry.
That's
Limeade.
fair.
So, yeah.
That's fair. Yeah,
I drink that. Yeah. So where would I put that? A limeade. I'm gonna put that at 4 just because it's limeade, the cherry limeade.
Yeah, I was like, why?
Iconic.
I was looking. I was like, why is it just a cherry limeade on here? And I googled Sonic. I was like, oh, from Oklahoma. That makes sense.
Yep.
What is that?
So I have 2 and 3 left. There's better be some good ones I can put in there.
I mean, everything that's on this list looks good.
It all looks good. It's just trying to find something that I can't find everywhere.
Well, I see one.
Go for it.
Okay. A pig sandwich.
That's the one I was gonna say next.
I don't know if I've ever heard of that. Does this mean like a pulled pork sandwich?
Okay, so it looks like it says it's like a pit roasted pork drenched in stock and sour pickle relish
Okay,
stuffed
yeah.
in a
That's
toasted bun.
Never had
It
that, but
doesn't
I'm
it
putting it at
doesn't look
two.
it
Just
doesn't look like pulled pork though at all.
yeah. It looks.
I
I
love
couldn't
pork in
even know
general,
what
and all
this
those
looks
things.
like.
That sounds awesome. What you just described, I would put it at two.
It kind of looks like smashed pulled pork almost.
Yeah,
I'm in.
sure.
You had me at pork, man. I'm not gonna lie. I love. It's my favorite meat. So
It's in Shawnee. In Shawnee,
Shawnee?
yeah.
yeah,
Van's
you're doing
Pig
good on your
Stand.
pronunciation of these Oklahoma towns. It's not
Hey,
easy. I
Let me tell you,
promise.
I lived in Wisconsin. I
Oh,
can
so you
pronounce
know.
Waukesha,
Yeah.
Sheboygan,
Yeah. We kind of have
Waunakee.
we have a little bit of an understanding.
The confusion here is the one that gets me is Miami, Oklahoma. It's spelled like Miami, Florida, but if you call it Miami, they will hate you for the rest of your life. It is
Wow.
Miami. And I was like,
Miami.
all right. I had no idea you wanted to change
Weird.
the way things sound. But okay.
Huh.
All right, last one for your
Okay.
number 3.
3.
Let's see. You see, because there's a lot of stuff on here. There's like chicken fried steak, regular steak.
Did they have fry bread on there?
Yeah, I was gonna say the Indian taco.
Oh, Indian
Yeah,
taco
the Indian
for
taco.
sure. Those are
That's what I
popular
was
here.
gonna throw out.
Oh, yeah.
That looked
Those
like
are
the
fire.
most unique out of them all.
They're
Those are amazing.
so good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're really amazing, honestly.
I used to work with someone who was Native American, and they would make Indian tacos all the time, and like it just fucking amazing.
Oh yeah. Oklahoma does have obviously a very rich culture, like native culture here, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things about living here. I don't have a ton of favorite things, but that's one of them.
Yeah, other
Ah.
things on this list were like barbecue.
It's just
Our
funny
barbecue
because
sucks, dude. I'm not gonna lie.
it's
Especially
so
coming from Texas.
it's funny. Well, yeah, this this list. So a lot of the lists that when we do these, it's so funny when it's just the most basic shit though. It's just like it doesn't say anything in particular. It's like barbecue, pizza. It's like what
Conies.
like I mean, I guess a coney could be I think a coney is a little bit different than like
Yeah.
just generically saying barbecue, not
Yeah.
like anything
Hot
specific
dogs.
in it. Hot
Yeah.
dogs.
Lamb
Yeah,
and
because,
calf
like, even-
fries.
In places that have good barbecue, different places are good for different barbecue, right?
Yeah.
They're good for different reasons in
Yep.
barbecue.
I'm a fat
All
kid. I
right.
love all barbecue.
And
Yeah.
this one says waffles.
Waffles.
Yeah, that's weird, right? Yeah, Oklahoma, that's what we're known for. Waffles.
I'm making waffles.
I feel like Oklahoma is weird. We're like culturally, it's a very odd place, so it's different for sure.
I kind of want to go to this place Nick's Grill to get this Nick's cheeseburger because this looks delicious.
Yeah, that looks real good
Yeah.
too.
There's definitely a couple good food spots too around here, but not as much as like I think down in Texas y'all have even better.
You know what?
Yeah.
Scratch that. Nick's cheeseburger is now number 1 because it was on diners, drive-ins, and dives.
Oh baby.
There's another
Okay.
place right by my house that was on that called Eichen's Chicken, and it's a fried chicken place, and they just serve your chicken with a whole loaf of Wonder Bread, like white Wonder Bread. They just put it on the table. Really famous, but it's weird.
That's crazy.
That
All
is
right.
crazy.
So if somebody like let's say we were coming through town, all right?
Yeah.
What would be the number one place you would be like, all right, you're coming through, we have to go here.
In Oklahoma to eat.
Yeah.
It's funny because it's a new Mexican restaurant. But let me think. Yeah, it's called Green Chili Kitchen. There's only two
Oh
of
yeah,
them.
green chili.
It's only two of them in the United States. This particular one, there's one here and one like in Seattle, and
Okay.
it is absolutely amazing. Like if you like Hatch green chili stuff,
Yeah.
it is so good. And they have they even served like cherry green chili pie. So good. It's like green chilies and cherry together in a pie. Like It's amazing. They do chili mint milkshakes, everything. So
Dude.
good.
I'd mess
Chili
with that.
mint milkshakes.
Yeah, this is so good. Like, it's amazing. But yeah,
I'd
Green
fuck
Chili
with that.
Kitchen. That's the place that I always take. Actually, Josh James, who is he's in a couple of bands. He used to be in Stalemate, but now he's in Stick to Your Guns.
Oh, I love Stick
And-
to Your Guns.
them.
But he was coming through town, and he was just driving through, and that's where we met to eat, because I was like, it's really the only good place I feel like in Oklahoma that I'll take people from outside the state, and like I'll be proud. Like, oh yeah, you'll like this. There's not a lot of those here, so that's one of them.
All right.
Take them to Sonic. Like this is our pride and joy
So,
right here.
You got to get the cherry limeade.
It's funny that I honestly, like, I hate Sonic, and I live here, and people get so mad when I say that. Like, I don't like Sonic. They're like, what?
Sonic
what?
just put out like a smash burger recently. I've had it and it's good.
Yeah, everything I've always had there was always so greasy. That's I don't know. Maybe that's my.
That's fair.
Like,
that is fair.
Their tots are
that's
always
true.
so greasy, but their
Sure.
cherry limeade is bomb. I will go through and get that.
I think I've
But it's
honestly
funny.
been to Sonic like once, maybe.
You're not missing a ton.
Yeah.
What's the good fast food where you live? Like,
Which
the
one?
popular?
For
Like,
me,
either one of you, yeah,
fast food?
yeah.
I mean, it's Chipotle or Taco Bell. I'm so up north fast food. Like, we don't have anything special up here. Anything we have for fast food wise, you guys for sure have.
Yeah, like
Brahms
I think
is ours.
yeah, Brahms was on this list too. I was like,
Oh,
I thought
Brahms
that
is
was
fire.
all over the place.
It was from here, I think.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I would say probably Whataburger is like
Yeah,
the Texas
for sure.
like
And
pride
In and Out
joy.
now too sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah,
yep,
but if
In-N-Out.
you tell most Texans that, they're gonna be like, nah, In-N-Out
No,
sucks.
okay.
That's from California. Texas and California don't like each other.
Midwest, two fast food places that you guys don't have. We have Culver's.
Texas has one.
Texas has a Culver's?
Yeah, it's in San Antonio.
Wow. And then I would say Taco John's. And Taco John's is real. It's good. It's some good fast
You gotta
food.
have Taco John's taco sauce.
Yeah.
You know, what's funny? This is it's crazy that you said that, because there was this really crappy ska band from Atlanta that I can't remember their name, but at every concert they would give away a can of Taco John's taco sauce. Like that. You remember how ska bands did weird shit like that back then? Like, ska was always the weirdest, but like at the end they would have like this competition, and everyone in the crowd would compete to get Taco John's taco sauce.
I don't know if it's the same thing, but yeah.
It was from the chain. So the Taco
Really?
John's.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, like they got it. They like found it. The band was from Atlanta, but they got it when they were on tour, and so they just buy a bunch of it. And it's like it was their thing, because that's.
I
what
didn't
weird
even
ska
know
bands
that,
did.
like, because if I had the money all the time, I would get Taco John's every single time over Taco Bell. But Taco John's is a lot more expensive. And they're both just fast food, you know? So it's like nothing is like life-changing about
Yeah, it's not like great.
Yeah. But their potato olays are fucking really good.
Yeah.
And so like that's why people would go there. But I love their hot sauce. It's different. Their meat paste is different than Taco
Meat
Bell.
paste.
You
It
know?
is a paste.
Yeah.
It
So it's I would say I think Taco John's is better than Taco Bell, but you know, it's a different price point.
is. For sure.
All right. Our last food for thought question now.
Okay.
Now this will be your persona. So if Edgar the Storm Chaser
Okay.
was a potato,
Okay.
what kind of potato would you be?
Ooh. I mean, I feel like a potato most days. You know, I'm stuck between two right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with I'm a new potato.
A
You know what
new potato?
New
No.
potatoes.
Mm-mm.
Well, let me see if there's an actual name. That might have just been something that we called them in the South. Okay, so I was right. Okay, they are called. So if you look them up, they're like little tiny potatoes. They're small. They're different. Every single one of them is unique. So that's why I picked that one because like new potatoes, they're just like they're like little ones.
Huh,
Oh,
okay.
just little babies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
like
see
a
that.
lot of the times they come in other colors and stuff like that. But I would say I only say that because I feel like I'm kind of always the oddball. So that's not what you think about when you look at a potato, and I feel like I'm not what you think about when you think about a storm chaser. So
I like that.
I was trying to be as artistic as I could there.
Dude, that's fucking deep, man.
That
That was
was
deep.
So deep, bro.
Super deep.
So
No,
deep.
it was. I love it. All right, well that's it. You did. It's you finished the food for thought segment. Now it's time for rapid fire questions.
Friendships will be tested. Rapid fire questions.
You're just gonna speak from the heart. You're gonna shoot
Okay.
from the hip. Whatever the
Okay.
first thing is that comes to your mind, even if it's not one of the two options I present to you, you
Just
speak
say
your
it.
truth.
Okay, I can do that.
All right. Well, this one's. I don't know what to do with this one, Gibby. We know what the answer is. The first one is normally Monster Energy or Rockstar, but for you, it's neither.
But when I drank, 100%, when I drank energy drinks, Monster.
Monster?
So, yeah.
Which monster?
The white can.
Okay. I feel
Do you-
like that is almost everybody's go-to now. It's like
Yeah.
anytime they're like Monster, white can, or one of the zeros in particular.
I remember it's been, like I said, like 5 years, but I remember like about the Monster cans. You know how you can like feel the writing on them?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why I always like that
Well,
for some reason.
It's that my partner calls it the touch of the tism.
yeah.
Okay.
It's just
And
like the feeling of it just feels great. It scratches that itch in the brain.
And it was the first like can to really do something like that too.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it was different. Because the first
So-
can they came out was that black with the neon green on it, like the
Yep.
ooze. But then when that white can was like sweeter. I don't remember what the flavor was, but something about that white can, it was like a little
was just-
sweeter than the normal.
It was just called Ultra. It was the
yeah.
Ultra Zero. Ultra Zero.
Just called crazy chemicals.
And it was amazing when it first came out. And now they've got like 30 different flavors of Ultra Zero.
Heck yeah.
All right. Pop punk or emo?
Pop punk.
Taylor Swift or John Mayer?
John Mayer. Man crush. I
Oh.
love John Mayer. I'm not even lying.
Dude,
I can sing so much. Like I love John Mayer. Like literally,
I
he's
enjoy a
man
lot
crush,
of
bro.
John Mayer. Yeah,
he's also just one of the most badass guitar players in the whole world. So
yeah, super good, super talented.
yeah.
Skinny jeans or baggy pants?
Baggy pants. Fat kid.
Disney Plus or Netflix?
Oh, Disney Plus, like 100%.
All
Just
right,
for Star Wars alone. Like
sure,
Yeah.
fair.
I got the it's in the weirdest spot, but I have Yoda's lightsaber.
Ooh, that is cool.
Nice. Stuffed crust or deep dish pizza?
Stuffed crush. Deep dish isn't real pizza.
It's lasagna, right?
Yeah. I'll argue that to death. I'm a huge pizza lover. It's my favorite food. And I'm like a huge fan of New York style pizza. So anytime I go to
Okay.
Chicago, I'm like, this ain't pizza. This is a pie.
The Chicago style deep dish, because Chicago style and deep dish
a
pizza
lot.
are two different things. I
They
think.
are, yeah. But
Chicago style is like Gibby says it all the time. It's just basically a lasagna.
yeah, it's too much.
It's a lot. Vans or Chuck Taylors?
Vans. Yeah. Vans
All right.
slip-ons. Can never go wrong with those.
It's
I
true.
still have like 20 pair of them in my closet.
And I'm gonna assume at least one pair is the black and white checkered.
I have black and white checkers. My favorite are the prison issues with the two Velcro straps. They're hard to
Ooh.
find. I like
Yeah.
those. And then I'm a shoe guy too.
Oh
I
yeah,
have
I'm a
like
shoe
literally
guy
like
too.
80 pair of shoes in my closet. But I have one of my favorite pairs of Vans have lightning bolts all of them. I actually wear them when I chase a lot. So
That's sweet. I like it. All right, this is the last one.
okay.
The All American Rejects or the Offspring?
God, that's a tough one, man. I'm gonna go with All American Rejects, and I know that's gonna be blasphemy to a lot of people, but honestly, like for pure pop punk, they just dominated pop. Like they knew how to write a pop punk song.
They sure
Yeah.
did.
Give You
I
Hell,
think,
like come on, that's so catchy still to this day.
dude,
Like,
it's so good.
Yeah.
All of theirs, I think they were like, they didn't really miss. Like their
Oh,
songs
yeah.
were just good.
They were. I mean, they were always they were just always like they always knew how to do that. They had the pop sensibility better than other pop punk bands at the time.
Right.
And like I would even like, a lot of people like they almost are so pop that you almost are like, well, are they really punk at all anymore? But
Yeah.
that's how
Well,
when you get into those arguments. But I think
now it like, yeah, I mean, any of their newer stuff, I wouldn't really consider it pop punk, but
no, but definitely back then they were a part of it. They were right when all those
100%.
pop bands were getting huge.
Oh yeah, 100% they were.
Yeah, the other one you had, the punk and the emo one is tough for me because I don't know if y'all see this now. Like people call punk bands, like pop punk bands, like they'll say that's an emo band. I'm like,
Yeah.
emo is so different, I think, too, when we were
It
younger, as
is.
far as like what I considered emo. I mean, and then now, they're like when they say emo, I'm like, oh well, that's not what I thought of as emo. That was what I thought of as pop punk.
Exactly. No,
Yeah.
and so that's why I actually give that question, because every person's answer is different, because everybody's understanding of pop punk and emo is different, to where
Yeah.
you and me, like when I think of emo, I think of like, Sunny Day Real Estate, the Get
Yep.
Up Kids, like there's the
And even the
Promise
Get Up
Ring.
Kids,
Yeah,
the first
that's
two albums were pop punk, and then they just went,
I also, yeah, I
And-
agree.
and
You
then they
know,
went super emo after that.
yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
like because everyone says My Chemical Romance now, but to
they say
me,
that's emo, and I say
Yeah.
fucking no, that's pop punk.
especially their first when they came out, they were no one was calling them emo, not one person was.
Right.
Like I said, it was more like Sunny Day and stuff like that is
Yeah.
where my head goes to.
Right.
Maybe even Jimmy Eat World to some extent, like they were like
Yep.
more of a pop version of it, and but now it's like I feel like those lines are kind of blurred, right? It's like
I feel like Hot Topic made it to where everything is emo. Everything
yeah,
is
for
just
sure.
it's all emo. And there's no really any use in fighting it anymore. It's all just emo or pop punk. But whatever you say, emo, pop punk, everybody knows
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
They know now, yeah. Like the weirdest one that someone came up with me was someone recently referred to AFI as a pop punk. I mean, an emo band, and I was like, I mean, I get why they think that, right? The black clothes, the emo vibes.
I wouldn't.
AFI was, I mean, they were like a staple of punk rock in the 90s.
Yeah, they were.
I mean, they really were.
Until
Like,
they only had a couple albums, December Underground, and then the one before that with like Girls Not Grey on it and stuff.
Yeah.
Like those were the ones that like you can consider them, where people started considering them emo. But before that, they were just punk. They weren't even pop. They were
oh yeah, they were
just
an actual punk band. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you were to call like, it's funny. I don't think people now realize the contention that happened when pop punk came around with like actual like punk rockers, right?
Yeah.
Like there was a little bit of like, like
Pop
argument
can't
over,
be punk.
Yeah.
yeah, they can't be punk. I'm like, whatever. Gatekeepers.
And now it's like almost everything is considered pop punk.
Oh yeah. Well, they call like half the grunge bands in the 90s punk now, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Hold on. I don't I think that's just part of getting older. But I will say, do you guys think that pop punk, I think it's gonna have a resurgent. And I'm basing it just on presidential elections, because Republicans have always been good for pop punk bands. The music always comes out. So I always look like the good years of pop punk always usually happen when we get a Republican president. I am not like trying to be political. I think that's there's objectively the truth. Like
I know that there's some like Punk Against Trump albums coming out soon.
Oh, so. Like instantly.
Like, well, I mean, I know of at least one right now.
Like they're actually happening. Or they're out. That is awesome.
Oh yeah.
That is pretty rad. Yep. the argument over what's punk has always been fun and classical. And I feel like if you're a part of the punk scene, that's always talked about. I don't know if it is anymore, but that was like a big topic back in the day. I remember because I saw like, or even like sometimes one time No Effects I remember was made fun of MXPX at Warped Tour, and it was really funny. But yeah, there was a lot of like, because a lot of people didn't consider like Christian our MXPX specifically as like a punk band because they were so poppy, but Chick Magnet ruined it for them.
Dude, it's crazy because like it's anyone you could argue No Effects is just as pop punk as MXPX. Like their shit's catchy. No Use for a Name, love them. Catchy as fuck, pop punk.
Yeah.
Face to Face, love them. Got pop catchy punk. Songs, pop punk. It's like
Bad Religion. Like
it's like
all those bands.
It's if you're singing and you're singing a melody, buddy.
Yeah, then it's probably pop punk.
Some
of them tried to get by, like all those bands like Lagwagon, and they tried to get back at skater punk, but I'm like, that's just pop punk and discuss. It's just faster.
It's just fast pop punk.
You're just doing pop punk faster. That's all it is.
You're doing pop punk and skate beats. Cool. I love it.
I remember like Fat Records people. There would be some people at high school, like they'd be all into like the Fat Records bands, and they would act like that was real punk, and anything that wasn't. Now I look back and I was like, man, all Fat Records stuff back then was super poppy.
Yeah, super pop punk. It's just what it is. I'm sorry. It's good. Don't be upset about it.
Yeah, there's some cool new bands coming out too, so I'm excited about that. It's weird now. You see a lot of punk guys, like pop punk specifically. It's not a band anymore. It's just like an individual person, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
like JKs. I don't know if you.
Yeah, no, I know who that is.
Yeah, like those people like that. Like even like to some extent, like MGK when he tried to do that pop punk album. Like it's just all these individual people.
Oh, he
for the record,
did.
He did.
It was a good album. It was a good pop punk. I don't like MGK just as a person. It's just weird. I'm just not a fan. But if you objectively, that was a good pop punk album.
That first pop punk album he put out, the second one, I thought it was like almost a perfect album.
Yeah,
like I don't like it. I never liked it when it came out. And once again, it's just like it is what it is.
Understand.
But honestly, he was one of the huge reasons we have this resurgence. He brought 100%. Pop punk back into the spotlight, and you can hate on him all you want, but it's the cold hard truth. Without MGK, we might not be here right now.
Well, in some extent, you can compare it even to back in the day with Blink-182. A lot of punk bands didn't like what they were doing because of how mainstream they went. But man, think about how many bands are around because of Blink-182, like pop punk bands. Like so many people were inspired by that. So it's like
before Blink-182, I'm sorry, I didn't see Bad Religion play in a stadium, but I sure saw them with Blink-182.
Yeah, the only one before Blink that could even come close was like Green Day. But, and they kind of caught some of that same flack as well.
But really, without the term Green Day, didn't Green Day hate the term pop punk?
For a bit,
probably,
because Billy is he was definitely he's hard-headed for sure. He's hard-headed for sure.
I think he grew up in a gutter. Green Day. He like grew up in like a gutter punk scene, but plays pop punk. That's what's weird. It's like, okay, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, he was one of the it's it sucks to hate on your creation, but he was one of the innovators of pop punk in general.
Oh yeah.
This
is a fun question. If you had to say like there was the godfather of pop punk, who would it be?
Probably Green Day.
Green Day.
Yeah.
I would go between. It's so hard for me because I want to put the Descendants in there.
Yeah, I was thinking the Descendants.
Dude, I love the Descendants, but
they're both. I mean, popularity wise, Green Day obviously had them, but
right.
When I think of like I don't know, in my head, like the Descendants is always like one of the first things.
Well, I guess I mean, if the Descendants definitely took punk and made it pop, probably one of the first to really do it.
Would you guys maybe consider who's the band that does
or they're fucking Ramones?
That's who I was thinking of. I was gonna be hey, let's go.
I mean that they were definitely did punk pop first, I would say. Like not in the mainstream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's funny is I always say with the Ramones, like, yeah, everyone in the punk scene, they know what, that they were early on, but like if you ever see someone wearing a Ramones shirt, they're usually not into punk rock.
No.
It's funny that, but they are always brought up. But I'm unapologetically, if I don't like something, I'll say it. I never like the Ramones. It's okay.
Yeah, it is
I never
okay.
liked the Ramones. I never liked the Beatles, and I never liked Led Zeppelin. Those are the ones everyone hates me for.
Dude, I can't stand Led Zeppelin.
Like,
Can't
it's blasphemy to
stand
people when
it.
I tell them that. I'm like, I'm not a fan of any of those, man. So, but yeah,
And the thing is also, like, with the Ramones, I like the Ramones singles, but I've tried listening to, like, I can only listen to the exact same song so many fucking times. And
yeah.
they have like years and years of albums of the exact same fucking song.
Oh yeah. Do you remember the Christian band, the Huntingtons, who copied them? So
Yep.
like, I just remember that they were just like the Christian version of the Ramones, the Huntingtons.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why
Yeah.
I thought of that. I want to hang out with you guys more just so I can remember some old bands. It's fun. It's like you get to be here and be a little nostalgic. I still listen to the majority like music from the 90s and early 2000s when it comes to punk. I like new hip hop, but I have a hard time getting into some of the new punk stuff. I really want to though.
Well, we can definitely
Well, we got a playlist with 50 bands that gets updated every 2 weeks.
Like, not when you don't talk about music, when you think about mentality, like I feel like there's two things, right? There's like pop punk music, but you can be a pop punk or punk rock mentality, but not be a part of the scene. But I think some of the artists, like even like Chappell Roan and stuff like that, she's like punk rock as shit, I think.
Oh yeah.
Like some of those people I look like, I'm like, man, if you just, put it to a little bit put a punk rock beat on there, it'd be lyrically like that type of stuff's really punk. So I'm looking forward to that. Like I like the pop punk that I'm excited to get like to hear maybe some more artists kind of go back to the roots of like, maybe some more serious topics. Didn't all have to be about girls.
Oh yeah.
Like
there's a lot out there. You just gotta look.
I know that's the problem. That's why I'm glad I have people like you that can help show me those people. Because like every time I do it, I'm like on Spotify. It's like, ooh, here's a new suggestion for pop punk, and I'm like, this is terrible.
This is terrible.
Yeah.
I've got stacks on stacks, man.
Sweet. Yeah. What's funny is they're not a pop punk band, but a punk adjacent band that I don't know how I never knew about Bill Murray.
Oh, dude, Bill Murray.
Why do I love that? I just found it like a week ago. I was like, what did I know?
Album of 2024. Number one album.
I was so mad that I just found out about it.
Because it was my top 5. I wouldn't say it was my number 1, but it was my
number
top 5.
1.
Like, because Attack, I always thought they were funny because they did like that weird crabcore stuff. And like, this is so much better than Attack. I'm sorry.
Dude,
like
100%.
Like the first time I heard it, I was like, is this country punk rock? What am I listening to? I can't even.
Oh my God. So
it's so good.
I recently discovered a band called Big Ass Truck.
Okay.
It's like almost like country hardcore.
Okay. That actually
it's
seems
just
like it would go together well.
Lyrically, he's just talking about like his truck, talks about like good old American beef. Like it's just a 4-song EP. It goes so hard, and I can't get enough of it.
Awesome. I love the combination of country into like punk, and there's a band called 500 Miles to Memphis. I don't know if you ever heard them. They're kind of like, they never got huge, but they have a couple albums out. They have like a fiddle player in their band, but they're a punk rock band. It's pretty badass.
Ooh.
Not gonna lie. It's like Yellow Card, but actual fiddle, not violin. Like he's playing like fiddle riffs. It's pretty rad.
We'll have to check that out. But with that, you did it. You finished the podcast. Now's your chance, Edgar. Let everybody know what you got going on. Where they can find you and what's next.
Absolutely. It's really easy. You can just go to edgarthestormchaser.com. I have all of my socials linked right there. But I'm on every social media platform from TikTok to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, even on the fun Chinese Red Note right now. So wherever you want to find me, you can definitely find me. Just go to edgarthestormchaser.com.
Hell yeah, dude. This was amazing. I'm so glad we finally got it figured out and got together.
We did it. It's easier this time of the year when there's no storms, so it's perfect. We did it.
It's true. I was I think the first time we were trying to set it up, you're like, "We'll just do it. We'll do it in the car, man. We'll do it when we're in the car." And I was like,
yeah.
feel like, dude, that'd be fucking fire, honestly.
I was like, because
we
he
can
told
do
me
that in
that
the
idea.
spring.
I was like, I'm down,
Dude.
but that audio must be so bad.
No, dude, I should have specified, dude. We have Starlink, and then we also have we have like this little box that takes every SIM card in the US and puts it all into one router. So we always have good signal. Because we have to stream in like 4K a lot when we're out live. So
All right. Well,
Well, we know.
maybe we'll have to
Yeah,
do a
next time we'll do
storm
it.
special.
that'd be fun. Reed would do it too. If we did it while we were out on the road, I could get Reed to
Dude,
be in on it, and that'd be fun.
We have to do it in the middle of a tornado.
Oh my god, that would be so intense. You might see us die. It would be crazy.
We'll do like really intense questions for it too, like stuff that's super deep and need thought, you know,
Yeah.
like math equations.
Awesome. I'm down.
Awesome. Well, Edgar, thanks so much for hanging out with us. This has
Yeah.
been another episode, the first of many episodes of the Unsigned Pop Punk Podcast. We'll see y'all on Monday.
Thank you so much for checking out the show. Please hit that like, subscribe, or follow button so you never miss an episode. And thank you to those who already are. Please rate and review the show to help the show be found by new people. And if you're in the position to help us grow, head on over to our website where you can find merch, our Patreon, and other ways that you can help at www.unsignedpoppunk.com. Let us know in the comments who else you'd like to see on the show and what other content you would like to see. Thank you so much for spending your time with us.